Hello, and welcome to Art Friends. We are friends who like art. I am Coda, and I am joined by my friends who like art.
Coen!
Just go and just explode.
Yes! You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Opalia.
Yes, Coen and Opalia. This is our new podcast, Art Friends, where we are friends who like art.
Dang.
Almost wouldn't have thought that it were because of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, the name can be very misleading.
Yeah. So, Coda, what are we actually talking about today?
I figured we could go ahead and introduce ourselves since it is the first episode, and I think what that would entail is kind of going over, first off, what got us into art, what got us into Friends, and what we plan to do, like what are the careers that we plan to pursue, and stuff like that. So if anybody would like to go first.
Go first, I'll go home.
Go first or go? You can go
I think
first.
It's nice for you to go first since you're the one talking.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the kind of initial stuff that kind of got me into drawing was the shows that my dad used to put on for me as a kid. And honestly, I never had control of what television I watched as a kid. I didn't have free reign of the internet until like very recently. As a kid, it was just on demand. My dad would turn on whatever shows, and a lot of them were like 90s Nicktoons, you know, like Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats. Yes,
It's on demand and not on demand.
it's on demand, just like the word demand.
I am
I
so
always
confused.
mispronounced it.
I thought it was on demand.
Same.
We've been Europe fooled.
Europe fooled us.
Well,
Dang.
do you guys pronounce it on demand there?
Yeah?
Well, then
Yeah.
it is. It's just demand here.
America being weird again. I mean,
Yeah, it's
soccer.
definitely America being weird in this situation.
Just like every other situation, soccer.
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 Ah,
So, Coda, continue.
you sound like you're pulling a gun against his head.
Definitely not threatening you. I'm just casually telling you to move on and talk more about your art journey, Coda.
Continue.
Do it now!
Now, as a kid, I adored the expressiveness of like Ren and Stimpy and stuff like that. Like just how much emotion and movement you could capture in these simple characters just amazed me. And I remember I wanted to draw that. And I wanted to be a person who could draw something super expressive like that. Now, here's the part that I don't think even you guys know. I might have mentioned this before, but I tried drawing that. I tried drawing like these really cool drawings, but I couldn't. No matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't get it right. I couldn't draw. So I started tracing. Now, I would proceed to trace these drawings and then, to my family members, claim that I drew them.
I did the same.
I didn't. You guys are art thieves. How dare you? Going
Art
to report you
thieves
to the art
don't-
police.
I have already gone to art church and redeemed of my sins. Do not worry.
Forgive me, Father, for I have taken the pen and drawn someone else's drawing.
Forgive me, Father, for I have traced.
But yeah, I would do that. I would trace over this art, and then I would show it to my family and be like, look at this thing I just drew. Isn't it cool? And they'd be like, oh, how'd you draw it? I was like, I just drew it. Yep. Oh, I remember one time, this is an interesting story. I traced a Donald Duck, and then I drew ovals, light ovals, over his leg to make it look like I used construction lines.
Brilliant. Absolutely
That's how
brilliant.
tracers do it.
But yeah, eventually, I stopped tracing and I started copying. So I would follow those online video tutorials, which this was right around the time when I started getting YouTube. I didn't really have YouTube for a lot of my life, and I started getting YouTube when I was like 12 years old. And there was this YouTuber called Cholo Wiz, and he would make these speed drawings all titled "How to Draw a Blank," I think, and they were super edgy looking back on it. Like I, as a 12-year-old, was drawing bongs and didn't even know it. But that led to some hijinks. I would show my family a drawing and be like, why did you draw this? I'd be like, I don't know. I found a tutorial. They're like, don't do that.
I don't want to interrupt, but I feel like my journey parallels yours so wonderfully.
And then there's me and my friend Steve.
You're special.
Aww.
Eventually, I started realizing that I couldn't just copy things always, because the drawings that I so desperately wanted to make as a kid would never be a reality if I just copied everyone else's drawings. So, and you can see these in my old sketchbooks. You'd have this really cool drawing that I copied, and then this awful one that I tried to draw from imagination next to it.
I feel that.
I feel that so hard.
But slowly, it took a while, started getting more comfortable drawing from imagination, and then I discovered that reference wasn't illegal. And then, from there, it was kind of smooth sailing. And at this point, I was like, 13, 14. So I had more free reign over YouTube. I didn't just watch what my parents put on for me. Which basically meant I was constantly discovering a lot of different artists, like a lot of people who drew, rather than just cartoons that looked cool. I was discovering who made those cartoons, how they were made. And that's really what inspired me, is that Western cartoony style. Like the CalArt style is what people think of a lot. That's kind of what I grew up on. I drew in that style for a long time. And then I've started kind of trying to get more expressive, almost R-Crumb type stuff if I can. But really discovering that there were individual people who made these and not just a company, like I'd always believed, is what really inspired me to start learning how to draw. And now my goal going forward is to make a show, make a cartoon. So, it's like it came full circle. What started me drawing was watching cartoons, and now I want to make one and maybe inspire someone else to do it. The cycle continues.
It's the cycle of tunes.
The circle of tunes.
And it's broadcast by corporations horrendously monetized. Ads galore. Anyhow, I can't sing.
That got too real at that point.
So, that's really interesting, Coda.
Yay. I don't think you guys have heard the whole tracing story before this, had you?
No, we haven't. Why did you only tell us this now?
Because I'm trying to keep a clean record, and now it's been
Exposed.
Yeah.
I've been exposed.
Get exposed.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Just wait until we talk about your. Just wait until we talk about your drawler days. Then we'll truly expose you, Coda.
We'll get into that whenever we talk about how we met. But for now, I think we should go over your guys' how you just got into drawing in general too. And going down the line of Coco, we have Coen next.
Yay! Hello, I am Coen. And I realized that mine is somewhat similar to Coda, except opposite in some ways. So I grew up with some TV or whatever. I would watch it occasionally, sometimes at my own house, sometimes at friend's house, but we were fairly limited in what we could watch. It was mostly constrained to Nickelodeon or adult programming. I remember sometimes just switching to other channels and seeing, like, I don't know, shows like Friends. And then I was like, this is real life. I can see real life in real life. I don't like this. And then I'd go back to cartoons. Yeah, go
Honestly,
away.
I always thought that those were actual people in there, but like copies of the people. So every time you like zap, like those people had to start working. And I felt so bad for them that I just couldn't watch like real life people.
Dang.
Man, this CGI is really good.
Speaking of really good CGI, Coda, nice transition there. I really liked Transformers, and I did not watch the movies for a long while. I watched them on YouTube, because I have been watching YouTube since 2008, and oh boy, did I see some stuff on that. You know how teens back on the internet when it was more of a Wild West would make like AMVs with Nickelback music and Transformers footage. I am fairly sure I have watched all of them. All of them. I
He
had
has seen it
basically
all.
watched those movies, and when I watched those movies later in life, when they were on Netflix or whatever, I was just like, "Where's the Nickelback music?"
This isn't an AMV.
This isn't AMV. This isn't YouTube. Basically, I was just a dumb kid clicking through, and it was really strange because as a kid, you can't really tell when something is like sarcastic or like purposely made bad or offensive. So when there was like a Dora cartoon or whatever, or like a Mickey Mouse cartoon that was like quite sarcastic and like devilish in a way, like haha, ho ho, Mickey, I am going to steal your money. I just couldn't make a difference between like Disney regulated Mickey and normal Mickey, so that was really, really strange for me. But I've always liked, and especially back in the day, I really liked over the top things and creatures and stuff like Transformers. How many explosions do you want? Yes. Ben 10, freaking young person that transforms into aliens. Yes, I loved that show. Designs were great, story was fun, characters were nice. I really liked that stuff. And when I got into school and stuff, I got access to paper and pencils. Most importantly, other friends who were way better at drawing than me. So basically, we would just, whenever we were done with homework, actually, when they would be done with homework, we would draw. I never finished any homework. Aren't I a professional? So sometimes in class I'd just be drawing a big old burger, and then the teacher would walk up to me. By the way, this is around age 6 to 7, fairly young. My teacher would just walk up to me and be like, "Coen, have you finished your freaking calculations yet?" Now just be like, "No, but I draw burger." And then they just let me. So that was nice. So that went on for a good while because my parents were fairly busy most of the time. They weren't like necessarily away, but we were like me and my sister were tiny screaming children. So we would go to like an after school daycare of some sorts. And there we would just there I would play with friends, go through the little like semi-forest, like bushes they had there. I would play anywhere, everywhere, and I played a lot of Flash games on the computer, which was also really interesting.
Like old time Newgrounds games?
Yeah, stuff like Dad and Me. I didn't quite play Alien Hominid, but Dad and Me, like, if anyone remembers these freaking, I don't even remember the names. Let's see, Pokemon Tower Defense was one.
I feel like I recall that.
Tons of old Flash games. I played those, and they were also over the top action, you know. And also around 2014, Godzilla 2014 was coming out, and I really like that one. I mean, it's a big lizard that shoots blue fire. How can I not like it? And coming back to the not being able to distinguish as a kid, there was this one quite strange the Godzilla parody where literally one of the opening lines is "Are you smoking crystal blue?" But I just didn't know what that meant, and I was just like, "Oh, he's holding up a bag of blue stuff, whatever." Then I would just play it in that. It was a Christian school, by the way, and I would just play it on the school computers there. And sometimes the teachers would walk by, and you're like, "Hold up," uh, but I never quite got stopped completely. So I was happy and drawing until I had to move to another city because my parents found another house. Basically, after we moved, I lost all my friends, and I had never been a super sociable person, and my self confidence was fairly low, but it just dropped. It just didn't exist after that. My school report in those years was literally, he's doing all right, but his self confidence is like in the minus. Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
He should buff up his self-confidence.
Oh well. So I didn't have friends really, but the people in class, they were quite nice. In the first year, I didn't really like them, and I thought was the dumbest and stupidest school ever. But in the second year, they began opening up to a bit to me more, and I'm that happened. But in those years, I was incredibly lonely, and I just drew to cope basically. And it was a more independent school where if you got the homework finished, you would just be able to do whatever you'd like. And a really popular activity back then was to open up a school computer and just trace. Coda. So Coda's story was like, yeah, I traced to make myself look good. Mine was literally I traced because I wanted to go get along with the other kids. And
Aw.
and sometimes I think I didn't know how printers worked quite. So whenever I wanted to get an image on paper, I would just trace it. So whenever I had to write like you had to do creative reports on a subject, I did all of them about dinosaurs. I have always loved dinosaurs, and I will love dinosaurs forever. They are cool.
Adorable.
I would just trace some really cool Jurassic Park artists by one artist that I should actually look up at some point. And yeah, I put those in my notebook, and sometimes it had the opposite effect with Coda, where they would be like, did you draw that? Did you actually draw that? Are you like a prodigy child? And I was like, no, bro, I just traced it. I would constantly make sure I traced it, but I had quite a lot of free time in those years because, as established, I did not have many friends, and I could just get the homework done fairly quickly, and then I would have time to draw. So that was fun.
Aw.
Basically, afterwards, I just stopped. It just deteriorated. But in one summer vacation, I walked into my dad's office and I was like, "Is that a drawing tablet? Is that an actual drawing tablet?" And I knew what drawing tablets looked like because I had watched YouTubers like Jazza or Caitlin McCaig or any other YouTuber. Or any other art YouTuber. Not all of them have drawing tablets, I think. And I was like, "Hey, that's what they use. Could I draw on this? Is that like art, but it's like actually on the computer where I trace things from? That's cool." So then I then I started on that, and I drew a few things, but after a while I deteriorated again. And that's like one of the 3/3 of my big inspiration with like the revival. Basically, that sounds a lot more dramatic than it actually is, but basically, another big component of it was a game called Doom Eternal because it was tons of stuff I loved in one. Just big guns, big demons, ridiculously fast, ridiculous music, and I really liked that. I thought it
Yeah.
was really fun.
And you still adore Doom.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
do. It's so like it has a. I love things that have a fun balance of just like fun, over the top, and ridiculous, and not taking itself too seriously. Like if you would ever try to write a hipster screenplay with me about the deep funks about society or whatever, I would not be able to help you. I would may turn it into a freaking bombastic piece of robots versus cyborg tarantulas or whatever.
That sounds extremely interesting, though.
I would watch that trilogy of movies.
Exactly.
Same.
Most critics would hate it, but I would love it. This was also around the time that I watched Pacific Rim, and what Doom and Pacific Rim have in common is that Hugo Martin is like one of the leads on both. So I love that guy.
We stand.
But anyhow, the last part of that, I've been talking for way too long. The last part of that whole 3 part was joining my first Discord server earlier that year. I had moved into high school and I had grown a bit more sociable. I think I've grown the most sociable like this year after I downloaded Discord because I realized, oh, I can actually talk to people. Nice. But on there, the big realization for me was, wait, these are all people who are like pretty good, like really good, and they're not like on the internet where I can't really access them, but they are like here. I can just talk to these people. Oh my god. And most of the people I talked to back then have kind of stopped drawing, but oh well. But yay, that's how I kind of did stuff.
Yeah,
I've been
that's
talking for way too
wonderful.
long.
No,
Way
not at all.
too long.
Not at all. And I think that we'll bring up Discord again once we kind of get into how we all met.
Yeah.
But before we do, Opalia, would you like to give us a rundown on how you got kind of into drawing and everything? Visual art in general.
No.
No. Hey guys, what if we have the first episode like an introduction to our art journeys and ourselves and how we met and stuff? No.
Wrong. That's
False. Incorrect.
Delete.
I agreed to this earlier, but I now disagree.
Well, you guys are
Anyhow.
blocked now. I've blocked you, and we are never
Oops.
talking again.
Anyways, sure, I can do that. So just to start with it, I had 3 siblings. All 3 were like watching anime, but mostly I got inspired by my big sister, who watched a lot of Mermaid Melody, Peachy Peachy Peach, which is a mermaid anime in that good old big eye anime style. And I just watched it together with her and really adored it. I think I watched it together with her. Honestly, my memory is kind of whack.
It's
Um,
fair because it's the most in the past for you.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, but also in like preschool and stuff like that, we always got forced into drawing. Like people were like, "So you're a child? Yes. You have hands? Yes. Paint." So I pretty much never.
Hey, that's me.
Indeed. So I pretty much never had like a start for myself or a stop for myself. I always kind of just got forced into art. Then at age 7 to 8, when we moved to a different city, I found a how to draw shoujo book from my sister and I stole it. And I pretty much traced over the drawings and I was like, oh yeah, I drew this totally myself. Like, those are all my drawings.
I love how all three of us traced. Polly and I were just like, yeah, we drew this, and Coen was just like, no, I assure you, I traced.
Yeah. I guess we were just better liars, Coda. So unchristian of us. Anyways. And then in 2010 to 11, I kind of didn't draw at all unless it was for school. Though I wrote a story actually, and then I kind of stopped again. But 2011 to 12, Pokemon Black and White came out, and I got it as a gift. So I played it a lot, and there was the one character called N who was like able to talk to other Pokemon, and I was like, oh, and I have a crush. So I pretty much the story that I wrote was pretty much about him and myself and said character, and I drew like drawings to them, and we had like specific powers, and his power was like the one of a Pegasus. So I gave him like Pegasus boots and stuff like that. That just fell into my mind, and now I'm cringing so hard.
That's wonderful.
It is. Then at age 13 to 15, I don't have like a specific time, the music video to Me 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 and Daoko's Girl came out. And I honestly adored those music videos. Like the art style was gorgeous. The artist was Hibiki Yoshizaki, who drew like those kind of slanted eyes with the double eyelid.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know why, but that just looked gorgeous to me. Like that tired look, it's stunning.
These people are sleep deprived. I love that. I'm going to do that later as well.
Honestly, you got to think about with how they work, anime artists. These anime artists were probably just drawing how they felt. They were making these characters tired.
Poor guys.
Yeah, indeed. But I also watched a lot of MLP, especially the Equestria Girls movies inspired me at that point. So I kind of did like a mixture between MLP and that art style. And it kind of turned into the generic art style everybody has when they start with digital art.
Airbrush.
Uh-huh. So much airbrush.
So much airbrushing.
It's like, why not just use black and then turn down the opacity a bit?
Yes. Oh, and the same time, I also was like a big fan of creepypastas because obviously I had a creepypasta face, as everybody does.
No,
I
I
know you guys
didn't.
didn't.
I think my creepypasta phase was an SCP phase, which I'm still in.
Yeah. I mean,
I might have come across it, but I just moved on to the weird stuff again.
Move back on to Nickelback Transformer
Not-
AMVs.
No, that was like very early in the beginning. Afterwards, I just started going to like weird, dumb stuff.
Uh-huh. Anyways, continue, Opalia.
and at the same time, I actually was like in a psychiatry, and there was like we pretty much were forced to do different kinds of arts. And I remember there was a guy called Holger, and he had like a small house. There was just his atelier, and we were like 5 people that had to art in there, right? So in the beginning, I saw those Molotov pencils. They were pretty much like Posca pens.
Right.
And I was like, oh my god, I want to use these. Can I use these? And he was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, wanna do it on a canvas? And I was like, oh my god, yes! I always wanted to use a canvas. So he pretty much showed me how to make an own canvas and how to use the Molotov pencils on there. And I still have that canvas like in my other room, which is great.
Oh.
And then
No.
he showed me how to work with that, how to mold figurines out of clay.
Clay.
Yeah. And how to use drills and sandpaper on other types of rocks. And then I saw it. His Copics and his drawing tablet. And I was like, I want to use this. This is so bad. And I pretty much visited him every day, like twice a day. You have to know we have like a daily plan worked out where we have like 1 hour you go to school, 1 hour you do art class, 1 hour you do this. Like it was a very strict plan. And I was like, can I just not have school and go there? And at one point, they just gave it up and gave me the art classes instead of school because I just didn't do anything there. So, I guess that worked out. But I actually really loved it. Like, I drew a lot of creepypasta characters and very bad drawings on that PC. And the whole time, he pretty much showed me, like, ways of drawing. And I remember some of his tips still, like, for example, where there's shadow, there's also light. That sentence is always stuck in my head when I shade. So I'm like, overly saturated light, pull the opacity down. Perfect.
Where there's shadow, there's
Um,
also light. What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I asked myself when he told me that. And it took me literally 4 years to find that out. So that happened.
Doesn't
Um,
end up explaining it. Nice.
I
You'll
mean,
have to. Everyone listening will have to figure out themselves.
Yeah, no.
Good luck.
4 years from now, we're gonna get a comment being like, I figured it out.
Nice. Good job.
I've become the
Okay.
best artist now.
it's pretty much, there's not only shadow.
No,
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 don't explain it, don't explain it.
Don't explain it. Shush.
Okay. So I came out of the psychiatry at one point. Yay, I'm not a weird person anymore. Yes, I am. And I got a few manga. One of them that really stuck with me, especially the art style of it, was Atelier Marie et Atelier, from Yoshiko Ochi.
Mhm.
Oshi? I don't know. I can't Japanese.
I
And I
do
remember,
not know how you're pronouncing these. Ha.
and at the same time, I also started watching a lot of anime, like rewatching classics like Naruto, Inuyasha, Detective Conan, Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that.
Coen, I didn't know you were a detective.
Well, I didn't wanna reveal my secret identity.
Sorry.
So wait, if I just discovered you were a detective, does that make me a better detective than you?
No, I'm just here to report your art sins.
I didn't trace ever.
Oh dear, have I not filed for tracing yet? Okay, listen, I just need one more week. One more week and I'll get you I'll get you the actual drawings.
Opalia's the worst offender here. She didn't just trace, she traced from a stolen art book.
expose me like that.
You literally
Honestly,
just.
I love how Opalia's like, yeah, I stole a thing. Then I traced from it. Oh my god.
Actually, it's a double steal.
Tracing isn't inherently bad, but that's a topic for future things.
Yes, we can make a whole
Indeed.
podcast about why you should trace or shouldn't. Who knows? We might have different opinions on it.
Yeah, let's
Maybe.
fight.
No. Anyway, so that art, that art style actually had like a lot. The hair was pretty weirdly drawn. It had like a lot of lines instead of like the outline of the hair, and then a little bit of strands in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but I was obsessed with that. Just drawing a bunch of lines just to have hair. And I remember like that art style, like the way they drew noses, the way they drew hair, that was just gorgeous to me at that point. So I was like, I will do that. And then around 2017, no, more like 2018, I have found out about Junji Ito, who is a
Oh, yes.
horror manga artist. Yeah, he also draws gorgeous hair.
Yes. That is one of our mutual inspirations, which we all have a few of, but Junji Ito is one of Opalia and mine's mutual inspirations.
Definitely. The way
Yeah, I was
he
about to
just-
say, that's just you two.
Yes. I actually have Uzumaki now in my room, which makes me very happy.
Yes, so
They
do
finally, yeah, it's a great manga.
It's so good.
And I
Cries in
remember,
comics.
and I remember how he draws hair was still very detailed, but I was like, I might do this, and I also like your eyes. I will steal your eyes now. I don't know what's with me and eyes and hair, but I kind of always do.
That sounds like if you took that sentence literally, it sounded like an actual plot of a Junji Ito book.
Oh
It
boy.
does. um. Also, around 2018, like the end of 2018, I have watched Fullmetal Alchemist, and I definitely really love the art of Hiromu Arakawa, who is the artist of the manga, and well, you know.
Yes.
And I remember being so obsessed with it that I just watched it for over 70 times. I didn't say 17, I said 70.
Yes, up to date, Opalia is currently at 71 times watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Liar. It's 75.
Already? It's gone up since last time?
Yeah!
I asked you how many times it had been like 2 months ago.
Yeah, like 2 months is a long time. I'm actually surprised that I didn't watch it more. But yeah, at that point I was actually at a very low point because I didn't have anybody to talk about art with, talk about anime with, and well, draw with overall. I was mostly talking to my big sister at that point actually, but no one else. And I was moving to like a new place with my current boyfriend at that time, and I just was like lonely. So I turned to Discord, but I think at that point we should maybe start with Coda again with his Discord story.
Yes, and I think these stories all kind of mesh together with how we met, so we can kind of tell them simultaneously.
Chaos! Yay!
Everyone, just start telling your story at the same time, and we'll have the audience decipher it.
Okay,
Heck
so
And it
yeah.
was
I
at
think
one
that is
point,
like that.
Fantastic.
Yes, but I think even so, a lot of us now, having met each other, you two are one of my, honestly, now main inspirations to keep going, because I have to keep studying or Coen's gonna pass me up, and I have to keep studying to pass up Opalia. So, yay.
For me, it's just, oh, I'm far behind.
I think we should start with Coda's story since it's the
Yeah.
longest.
Do it. How did you
Okay.
even find Discord?
Mine, yeah, I don't know if you guys even know how I found Discord. My story is very interesting. So, it's parallels with yours, where I didn't have many friends growing up, and that was mostly due to the fact that I think I'd moved like 11 houses in 9 years. Yeah, I was constantly moving.
Oh yeah, same.
But for you, it was like, for you guys, it was more extreme. I moved literally once half an hour away, and it just destroyed me due to my social skills. And you guys literally moved like 10, 11 times.
18.
Gosh dang it.
But I didn't really have anybody to talk to because anytime I'd make a relationship, it was instantly taken away from me. So eventually, when I lived, I wasn't living, I wasn't living where I am now, and that inspiration to make a TV show that I still have to this day was just, I really, really want. Oh, Coen just left the Discord call.
Yeah, it's probably just his Discord.
Hello?
Keep talking.
Welcome back. So yeah, I think with me, I still had that, burning passion to create a TV show, but I couldn't, Like, I was a kid, I didn't have any digital art devices. I at the time, I didn't even have a drawing tablet. I had a laptop with a trackpad, which is even worse than a mouse.
I beg to differ.
It is.
Trackpads are fantastic.
I drew in a program that was not even an online program. I mean, it was not even an actual program. It was an online program called Sketchbook. That's what it was called, and it was awful. Like, imagine Drawpile, but way worse.
Dropper is actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Imagine Microsoft Paint, but worse.
Microsoft Paint
Impossible.
is great.
Yeah, Microsoft Paint's actually pretty good.
If you know. Okay,
I said nothing
imagine
before.
what's a worse program. I need to make you guys imagine a bad program than something worse.
Krita.
Stop with the Krita disses. Jeez.
I hate Krita. There could be an
Noticed.
episode. Just me roasting Krita for 8 minutes straight.
I feel like you would be able to do it longer than 8 minutes.
You'd be able to do a podcast on your... If ever we're not available and you have to film an episode by yourself, just make it a Krita roast for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I wish.
So I literally had no materials to make anything that was like show related. Like, I couldn't make shorts, I couldn't make animations really. So the only thing I could make was YouTube videos. So I turned to using my laptop webcam to start making YouTube videos under the name Drawler. Drawler spelled Drawler. Basically, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no supplies. I was literally just making these YouTube videos because I enjoyed it. I remember one of them hit like 300 views, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? Am I famous now? Am I like a certified celebrity? I eventually got a tablet, and I got screen recording software, and I got all this stuff, and I got better and better at making videos. I was still never good at it, but I got better. And I met another artist online through one of Jazz's challenge of the month that he used to do, which I miss dearly. That's how I met most of the people I know online. I met another artist, and we did a YouTube collab, making a video together. And then I met another artist.
Who did you first collab with?
This was Zakira.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
Hey,
Zakira.
so you knew Zakira very early.
Yes, I did. I've known her for years. Don't talk to her much, really, anymore, though.
No.
Sad.
There was that collab, and then I met someone else, and I did another one. And then I met someone else and did another one. I eventually landed myself in this little community of artists somehow. Somehow they tolerated 13-year-old me. I have no idea how they did it, but they did. They tolerated Drawler. And then we made a Twitter chat room called the Artist Guild. And I was invited to it. It was that little community that we made on YouTube, made a Twitter chat room called the Artist Guild. And that kind of spiraled into a bigger chat room with a bunch of people in it. And it started growing this bigger community. And eventually we were like, okay, this can't be handled on Twitter anymore because it's just too much. Let's make a Discord server called the Artist Guild. And so we did, and it's still up and running. I still run it with a couple friends, Zakira, Sai, Speedscape, and all the lovely mod juniors, which Opalia is one of.
Ha! I'm a member. I contribute nothing.
Coen, I really am trying my best to get you to be made a mod. But yes, I honestly couldn't have asked for a better server because everyone is so nice and easy to handle. Soon enough, on the Discord, a person named Coen joined. And
Hey, I joined before him.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Coda.
and Opalia, but fine, I could do it in proper order if you'd like. A person
Proper order.
named Opalia joined, and soon after, a person named Coen.
So I got Discord through a couple of people I had in school. They made like a chat room. I'm still in that server, by the way. It's called This Is a Chat. But basically, how I got into the Artist Guild is that I was watching a very small YouTuber at the time called Popgrass Studios, or Popgrass Animations at that time. Boy, that's a throwback. And he mentioned a thing about a Facebook group, except I didn't have Facebook because Facebook was for lame old people. No. So I was like, hey, do you have a Discord server? And somehow that turned into me being the head mod on there. And that's still happening, so that was fun. But in those early days, a person called Speedscape joined that server. And I don't know how it happened exactly, but I think he just said like, here's an invite, join now.
That
So
seems
then
very sweet to me.
Speedscape, for context, is a mod on the Artist Guild, one of the 4 people who created it with me.
Yay,
course.
and he's British.
Yes. That's the only context you need, is that he is British.
Yeah, and when he first met me, he thought I was like a professional mod person, so that's funny. But anyhow, Opalia, how did you get Discord and how did you get into it? And how did you join the guild?
Jesus, let me talk.
No.
Opalia, you must
Go
answer
ahead.
all these questions at once.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, that's all for the podcast. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
See you in 5 years.
Bye. No, first I got Discord when my ex-boyfriend pretty much was like, hey, so I'm in that Minecraft server. I don't want you to be lonely. Join us on Discord. And I was like, okay, I might install that stuff. And then I never used it again because I was too shy to even open up my mouth because there were so many people talking at the same time. And I was just like,
Coen, what are those rolling pencils?
Oh, they
control
aren't
your
pencils.
pencils, mate.
No, I'm freaking flip. Can't stop me.
It sounded like you were trying to balance pencils on like a wooden table.
Yeah, right?
I might be. Crap. Continue.
Continue, throws his knee against the table. Oh, Coen, why did you do that?
I do not regret it. I hit a meaty part, so it's fine.
It's not healthy if your table is out of meat.
No, I mean I hit.
Yeah, I know.
If it was my kneecap, it would have sounded like this, which is a bit different.
Coen, now you've done it.
Yeah,
You're big.
but I did it very softly. If I would have done it like harder, it would have sounded like no. I'm kidding.
Imagine him to being like, if I would have done it like this, bam!
Officer, I didn't commit the crime. If I would have committed the crime, it would have looked like this. Proceeds to commit the crime.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, so I was too shy to talk to those people, but then my sister was like, hey, I'm also using this Discord thing. And if you ever want to like find actual friends that have maybe similar interests, I can invite you to that one server from Zakura if you'd like to. And then she was pretty much on a whole like talk about how she likes Zakura a lot. She still likes her a lot, by the way. And I was like, no, for 2 months or so. But at one point, I just couldn't just only talk to my sister and my one friend. So I was like, you know what? I will try this out. And if I hate it, I can just leave, right? So I joined the Artist Guild. And, well, yeah, that kind of was it, like how I joined the Artist Guild.
Now, you can see where this is going. We're all in the Artist Guild at one time, just waiting to become friends. And I don't know if us talking right now, saying that we're friends, is foreshadowing enough, but we became friends. So,
Spoiler.
Coda, how dare you spoil it? I was halfway through.
basically, I think we should go briefly over how each of us met each other and our perspectives. Opalia, when I met you, and we, okay, Coen, I know you said not to make notes anymore, but I'll edit this out. We can keep this one more open. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be one person telling a story to the next. We can joke and stuff. Like, keep it more open.
Oh yeah, sure.
So like, if I start telling something, then you can interrupt with how your perspective of that thing was.
I know. I will do that now.
Okay. So, basically, I think...
Get interrupted.
I wanted to do that. I wanted to scream objection. Just stop my joke.
Gosh darn it, Coen, that was too good. Now I can't edit the last part out.
I know.
In the guild, we have a thing called a guild game night, where basically everyone hops in a voice chat, talks to each other, and we play drawing games. There was a guild game night that Opalia joined. That is how I met Opalia, and I believe that
That's not the chronological order of events.
It is.
Yeah.
I met Opalia in the guild game night, and then...
Was that like a guild game night way back?
No, it was actually one of yours. But after you left,
What?
we were playing Card Against Humanity.
Yeah, that then it isn't the chronological order of events, because first, Coda, you asked in the guild, like, hey, I want to get better at drawing characters, send me your OCs and I'll draw them.
Yes.
And I capitalized on that.
Yes. So, I'm going to say this. Basically, Coen missed out on the guild game night because he was doing something else, so he couldn't join. And the next day, I guess he was sad, so he decided to host one himself. He was unofficial guild game night.
No, Coen.
No, Coda, you're getting this all wrong.
Am I?
No, I was sad because I pretty much locked myself out of my house. Yes, I know it's shameful. And
so I hosted
a
a guild game night the next day, so people who missed out could join.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Coda just learned everything about the guild right now.
Dang. Good job. No, it's fine. I find it shameful that you didn't remember me that first time, although the first time I probably did act a lot differently. I feel like out of the three of us, I've changed the most.
Yes, at least as of recent. So, okay, since I can't seem to get this right, you guys go over how you met me.
Yeah, we have memory.
Okay, so Coda, I remember I met the first time when we were talking like about animals and how great animals were when we were
Oh, the marine animals. Yeah, we were talking about how much we loved octopi and squid.
Yeah, exactly. But we were first talking about like pets and showed our pet pictures. At that point, I think I just had Gina, my cat. I kind of started talking to Coda more and kind of went into, as he said, octopi and cuttlefish were his favorite sea animal at that point. I don't know if it still is.
It's still my favorite sea animal, but chameleon is my favorite land animal. I just like small things that can camouflage, I guess.
Hilarious. So that was like one of the first talks with Coda, and I was like, man, that guy, I want to talk more to him. He seems very nice. And with Coen, it was the Guild Game nights. First of all, I was like looking at the voice text thingies, like the chat section. I was like, man, nothing is really happening there, huh? And Coda was like, you know what? We could host like a guild game night because that's the chronological order, Coda. And I remember that Coda was like, you know what? We could host that. But then the first guild game night, I wanted to go walk outside because I wanted to lose some weight. And I locked myself out of the house, so I had to go to the grandparents of my ex-boyfriend at that time. I pretty much missed out on the guild game night because he came back so late in the day that it just ended when I came back, and I was so destroyed. So Coen decided to host a new one. Like, he and his friend Fluff were like talking the whole time. And I remember they're making jokes about like German people. And I was like, oh, Fluff, you're German. Then it kind of turned into us just making jokes and then like talking about how drawing muscles in the game gives us like a bonus, even though no one is really a winner there. And my first impressions of Coen and Coda were like, Coda is a nice dude. That's a little bit shy in my opinion, but I think it's easier to open up later to him. And with Coen, it was like, man, he seems like a professional artist. But then at the first guild collab, I saw his drawing and I was like, man, what an amateur.
I mean, it's true. How did you ever think I was professional? Like, how? Yeah, but I mean with the old profile picture and all. How is that
The
professional?
old profile
I don't
picture.
know.
That's so funny.
The
Remember
profile
that
picture we
one?
don't talk about.
Still on my YouTube banner. Let's switch it back to Coda because now he knows what's happened.
Yes, now I know what's happened. I was gonna say, so first impressions of Opalia was, she's nice. It was like same as me. You seem nice and you seem a bit shy, so we were kind of mutual on that. And now that I know you, you're nice and you are not the least bit shy.
Nope.
I am pretty much the person that is like, guys, we see, I will not accept a no.
Yeah.
When I first met Coen, it was I was working on a bit of a comic thing for comic kind of book thing I was working on then. And
That you never finished.
I never finished it because I improved too quickly and didn't like it, and then I started on something else. Which that sounds cocky saying that out loud, but it was true.
Sure.
I was like, hey, I need to work on my defining my style more for this thing. Give me some characters to draw. And then Coen DM'd me his character, who was kind of like a synth 80s Freddy Krueger.
Also cowboy.
Yes, also cowboy. I have the original chat log.
Oh yes.
Would you like me to read it or no?
If you want to.
Let me scroll all the way up to the top of the thing. We have a lot of chats. Oh, geez, I've been scrolling up and I just now made it to an image of Table Coen, so I'm not that far up.
Just imagine people randomly hear the word table Coen and we are
Yeah.
not explaining it.
We're not going to give context to it.
Yeah.
It's like where there's shadow, there's also light, and everybody is.
Yeah, everyone
that's
draw
funny.
Table Coen following the rule where there's shadow, there's also light.
Yeah. That's our art assignment.
Art assignment. You have to do this. If you don't, we'll get sad and stop making the podcast. Coen sent me this image, and he's improved so much. He's improved, like, incredible. So it wasn't that well drawn. And just kind of the way he talked led me to believe, and his profile picture and his art style led me to believe he was, like, a kid, which I was half right.
I mean, it's true.
You are
It's
a kid,
true.
but you are the most mature kid I know.
You are.
That's not true.
No, it is.
It is. Who are you to say who I know and how mature they are?
I know me. I know me better than you do.
No.
Dang.
So, basically, I do that, and then Coen sends me a character to draw, and I draw it. And then later, he says, hey, I want to draw one of your characters. Was it because you wanted to get pay me back or something?
Yeah, I was like, this guy did like a full drawing of my character. How? Oh, it's so cool. This is such a nice guy. I should do something in return. Now I feel bad, dear God. So I want to do something in return.
Yeah. So I had a show pilot that I'm still have in the notes, Like I said, I want to make a show, so I have way too many ideas for pilots. And it was Stan was the character's name, and he looks like an old man, but he's a boy. Coen drew the character, and that was kind of our first interaction. And then I thought I would never talk to him again. But then, like a week later, he DM'd me and was like, hey, can you draw this character for me?
That was my voice at that time, can confirm.
Yes, that's a perfect impression if you were wondering.
We literally didn't talk then, and I do not have any recordings of it, but it's probably that.
And then I was like, oh, this kid's gonna ask me for free art, isn't he? But it was the most respectful free art request I've ever gotten. So, like, I was like, okay, this kid's obviously mature. And slowly but surely, we started talking, and my suspicions about mature proved to be true.
When
You just said it,
when
Coda.
Coda drew those things for me, I was like, dang, this guy's so cool. He must be like really good at art, and he must have been doing it for a long time. So cool. So when I saw in the guild, like, oh, by the way, we're hosting a guild game night, I was like, sure. I haven't been in too many VCs. I think it's fun, and the VCs I had done before were pretty fun to me. So I figured I'd join, and then I heard Coda's voice for the first time, and I was like, dang. It was like about
Deep.
as deep as it is now, so I thought you were like 28 or something. I mean, I guess it's true. Coda, are you sure you're 16?
I am not. I could be anywhere from 14 to 45.
That was fun, and that's how I met those. But like when I met you guys at first, I was already immediately like, these people are good. These people are really, really dang good.
You just disrespected Coen from the get-go.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Poor Coen. Well,
Nah.
you are proving us wrong now. You are improving so quickly, it is startling.
No, I'm not.
Aw.
Yes, you
Barely
so
are.
done
scary.
anything. Barely done anything. I need to do more stuff.
I think we got out a lot of information, went over a lot of history. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add before we kind of wrap it up?
I'm still an amateur and I'll always be one. Haha, get wrecked.
No!
Haha, the joke's on you. I have the power to edit that out.
No.
Oh, damn.
Now I have to say
Honestly-
something funny so you can't edit it out.
Honestly, now, I think that one last thing I can say is, no matter how you feel at the moment, like if you feel lonely or something like that, just to, like install Discord and come to the Artist Guild.
Yes.
Yay! Link
to
in the
Artist Guild.
description.
Best
Link in the
ever.
description. Anyhow, thanks everyone for watching. First episode of Art Friends.
Yes, thank you for watching, and if your life is bad at the moment, it will get better. Yay!
Yay.
Dang.
Hurrah for Art Friends. We plan on doing these episodes twice a day. So, if
What? I don't think you have that much time, Coda. I do,
We
but
will-
you don't.
We will upload 2-hour videos every second.
Anyhow, yes, we will just upload videos whenever we can, just when we're having fun.
Honestly,
Every week.
Every week,
Schedule it.
weekly podcast. We just now settled on this.
that's not the best way of planning.
No,
Doesn't matter.
it is, because that's pressure.
Pressure.
It's pressure
Under
planning.
pressure.
But anyhow, thanks everyone for watching.
We will see you on the next episode of Art Friends. Cue the outro music.
Do
Thank
we
you
have
for
outro
watching.
music?
We do not have outro music.
I kind of want to eat a tiramisu now.
I mean,
I don't know what that is. What's that again?
Italian sweets.
Oh, nice.
isn't it the coffee thing?
Yeah.
Yes.